Alright, the kettlebell. Lots of great drills we can do with the kettlebell, and it really is a marriage made in heaven, kettlebell and martial arts, okay? Lots of people have written about this. Paddle himself, talks about kettlebell, kettlebell training itself being the closest thing to a fight without actually throwing a punch. We get this tense, loose, tense action with a lot of the ballistic drills, the swing, the snatches, etc. Just like throwing a punch. So tense, loose, tense, that sort of thing. Been written about loads of times by great people. I'm not going to go over all that sort of stuff. I'm also going to talk about I'm going to touch on the swing and the snatch argument. Just touching on it, because again, lots have been written about this. People want to argue about all these little things. But the swing offers a lot of sort of benefits that maybe the snatch doesn't, and vice versa. Both great drills, you don't have to exclude them. So the swing can be two-handed or one-handed. A lot of gyms, it's done two-handed a lot of the time, so there's nothing wrong with two-handed swings. So, however, the real benefits, added benefits, come from single-handed stuff, anti-rotation. Lots of different styles, if you like, of doing swings, from hard style and more of the Girovec, the kettlebell sport style. So when we're swinging a kettlebell, single-handed, with power, I'm stopping it here, okay? Again, this is touching on things. It isn't a tutorial on swing snatches. I'm only going light here. This is a traditional set. So I'm a 16 and 24 and 32 kilo, 1 pood, 1.5 and 2 pood kettlebells. And I'm just going to illustrate this. As well, they look nice, don't they? Red, gold and green. Alright, so the snatch is where we flow straight up into that top position. Okay, now, what happens, comparing the two, the kettlebell snatch being the czar of kettlebell lifts, one of the drawbacks for most people, for most of you out there, is the real requirement when we're snatching, and we have to be in that top position, is the real requirements for thoracic spine mobility, and both mobility and stability of the shoulder joint. Now, many people have not got that. These question mark shaped people, walk into the gyms and they see the fancy stuff, and the trainers don't ever even screen them, when they probably never even been shown themselves how to use these tools. But they, prescribe an exercise or allowing people to do what they do in the gyms, and they just blow themselves up. So if you've never been screened for overhead work, there's a little screen you can do straight away. With your feet flat on the floor in this sort of bridge position, flatten your lower back off to the mat. And then when you take your arms overhead, and you can see there's tension here. They should really be flopping straight down without you arching out, without you losing that flat back to the floor. My shoulders are down, they're not shrugging up. So if you cannot do that in that position, what makes you think that you're going to be able to do it here with a kettlebell moving at speed? Okay, with that force of the kettlebell. So what we end up doing is substituting that thoracic extension for lumbar extension, or so we're losing the stability through the trunk, which is one of the benefits of actually using a kettlebell. Or, see the CrossFit guys, F45 guys for this. So when you do that, if you don't do that, I should say, we end up enclosing this subacromial space. We end up impinging the shoulder joint. So again, either one is going to lead to this inefficient exercise, and it's going to lead to pathology down the track. Why do that? Okay? So I suggest, it doesn't mean to say never do the snatch, quite the opposite. It means develop your mobility, make that a priority so that you are able to do the snatch. And keep working on your swing. But how about we can use another drill, which maybe you can train your ego, because you can go heavier on it as well, which is a high pull. Okay, so the high pull is also a great intermediate drill. Well, this is an intermediate, it's a stepping stone drill, and one that doesn't get the applaud it deserves, okay? So the high pull looks something like this. So the high pull, we're popping the hips just the same as we would for that swing. We're striking the elbow back, which again for me makes it a real good drill for the grappling art. So we have to stabilise this picture. Maybe we are pulling, we are guiding an opponent. We're getting that important pull component as well. Okay. Now I'm only going to like to demonstrate these for you, but you see when we teach a snatch, the high pull is a teaching step, because essentially we do that high pull and the kettlebell continues turning and we just thread our hand through the handle, like so. Because that should always be smooth. What happens, you see people and it's like a thud. That's just shit technique. People who are just picking up kettlebells, brute force and ignorance, excuse me, and just setting about them with no rhyme or reason. So the idea is to always be smooth. And if you are a coach, and I've got my little wrist guards on, but if you're a coach and you're getting anyone, especially females, and they're thud, they're going home with bruised arms, it's probably not the best look for you as a coach. Alright, so I suggest you clean your coaching up. Get people to swing with real snappy hips, stable midsection. You practice the high pull, you don't have to go heavy, but it's just guiding that bell to the point where it becomes, look, a little bit more like it's going to flip over the top. So that was a bad explanation in the sense that that's what it starts to do. As you drive with your hips, the kettlebell's coming up, you pull it back, it's going to flip, and all we do is thread our hand in for the snatch. So it should look smooth here, okay? And then the high pull, we're just striking the elbow. When we go heavy, so we don't have to, but doing short sets, like so, still trying to keep those hips square, pulling that bell back, and you'll guide me back between your legs. Okay? It's the swing, snatch and high pull, but this is all about the high pull really. A somewhat forgotten drill that's not just a teaching step, it's a great standalone drill. And if you're bored of your swings, add a few high pulls into your training regimen, and I think you'll find it's a great drill to sort of really hone into in of itself. Alrighty? Great stuff, guys. Don't forget, good guys wear black.